And welcome to Cowboy Logic.
Weird stuff going on in America.
Woo. Boy, we didn't see this one coming, and we're pretty close to the Rav family and MTG and Brian and everybody else. Woo. Boy, did we not see this one coming. So, you know what? If it's personal, I just don't see. I love MTG. I'm sorry. She was against transitioning kids. She had gun rights. We even helped MC one of a two-way gun right rally she had. She backed Trump to the hilt. She's against the war in Ukraine. I just think all she did was great stuff. But here's the thing, and it's very interesting in my opinion, because this came. Did anybody watch the Dick Cheney funeral? If it's not right in your grill, as Steve Bannon says, it was right there. It was the uniparty. And Bush is saying he's going to make a comeback. We got to nix that sucker right in the bud before it happens. And you know what really gets me? Is that Donald Trump, he's not going to do everything we all love, but he backs Lindsey Graham. Just take a look at this.
Trump and I, we've had a hell of a journey. I hate it being this way. Oh, my God, I hate it. From my point of view, he's been a consequential president. But today, first thing you'll see, all I can say is count me out. Enough is enough.
And that was right after J6, right at J6, okay?
Hold on a second. We've been like anti-Lindsey since 2012, 2013, something like that.
But he's a Judas. I'm sorry. That's all I see.
And we are in no way saying that about MTG. This whole thing with MTG, we don't really know what to think about it. And quite honestly, right now we're recording this show the day after she resigned.
Yeah, and watching TV going, holy crap.
You're watching this. We may know everything that we need to know, but
what I'm trying to get at, though.
It's sad.
Yeah, it's
what is going on with America, with the Republican Party inside the Trump administration is just very sad.
Yeah.
We had everything.
Yeah.
We had everything that we could have possibly have wanted going into 2024. Or going into 2025. And Trump, it is certainly not happening like we had wished and thought that it would.
And he's tireless. He hit the ground running. He's been tireless at 79 years old. But see, this is what I was trying to say. He's already endorsed Lindsey Graham. What the heck? We were on the whole Trump 2020, rallies. We went to a bunch of them. Lindsey Graham showing up at all of them. And then, right on J6, boom, he does a 180. And that's exactly what I showed you there.
Well, do you remember when we were at this rally, and is it Pickens, South Carolina?
Yeah, 8 minutes he was booed.
50,000 people were there at that rally that we covered for Rav. And he was booed out of the county.
For 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Remember, he supported the Patriot Act. And now he's all upset because with Arctic frost, they're looking into his devices. Oh, gee. Funny, Lindsey. Okay for thee, or me, rather, and not for thee. All right, so Mark Lynch is running against Lindsey Graham. And I know he's a long shot. But I think it was way too early for President Trump to endorse anybody, that's for sure. So let's look at some of Donald Trump's accomplishments from Larry Elder's perspective.
You can't lie. Larry Elder is 1,000% on point with this one. I'm just saying.
Jimmy is in Charlotte, North Carolina. Jimmy, how are you?
Yeah, Larry, I'm doing well. Hey, when they go around at the cabinet meetings with Trump and kind of drool over him North Korean style, are you kind of embarrassed by that?
Is that your question? Were you embarrassed to watch Joe Biden drool for 4 years? Were you embarrassed to watch Joe Biden stumble going up and down the stairs? Were you embarrassed to watch Joe Biden trip on the stage? Were you embarrassed to watch Joe Biden avoid taking a cognitive test? Are you embarrassed that Trump took it and passed it with flying colors? Are you embarrassed the way Joe Biden pulled out of Afghanistan, leaving behind $7 billion of equipment? leaving behind hundreds of Americans, thousands of Afghans, 13 service members killed at Abbey Gate, several more injured, thousands of Afghans killed. Very likely encourage Putin to invade Ukraine. Very likely encourage Hamas to slaughter Israelis on October 7. Are you embarrassed that Joe Biden said nobody told him that the Taliban would come back and that the Afghan government would dissolve, even though generals testified under oath that that was exactly the advice that he was given? Are you embarrassed that former Treasury Secretary Lawrence Summers, Democrat, served under Bill Clinton, told Joe Biden that all the spending would be inflationary? He did it anyway. Are you embarrassed we had 9% inflation? Are you embarrassed that gas prices under Joe Biden were 50% higher than under Donald Trump when he came into office? Are you embarrassed that all of these Democrats and much of the media covered up for Biden's cognitive decline? Are you embarrassed that Mike Johnson, the speaker, said that he'd had a private conversation with Joe Biden finally after all the aides were dismissed? He said, "Mr. President, please explain to me why you signed an executive order banning the export of LNG, liquefied natural gas." And Biden said, "I didn't do that." He said, "Mr. President, yes, you did." "No, I didn't." He goes, Oh, I know what I did. I signed an executive order to study this." He said, "No, you didn't." Does that embarrass you? None of this stuff embarrasses you. Are you embarrassed that for 4 years we were told you needed comprehensive immigration reform in order to close the southern border? Are you embarrassed that Donald Trump succeeded in closing the border in 30 days without any new legislation? Are you embarrassed by any of this? Are you embarrassed by all the waste, the fraud, and the abuse that Trump and Doge are finding? Does any of this stuff embarrass you? I'm serious.
Boom. Show that to your liberal
Brilliant.
friends on Thanksgiving, I hope. Well, I know this is after Thanksgiving here, but
what a brilliant
I'm sure
man.
they won't talk to you anymore either. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And then you got the seditious six saying that we need to go against Trump. Hello. But they did everything that Obama wanted, including sending pallets of cash into our enemies. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. So let's continue this review. Let's look at where we are with Bill Gates from now 4 years later. Check this out.
But you don't have a choice. People act like you have a choice. People don't feel like going to the stadium when they might get infected. You know, it's not the government who's saying, okay, just ignore this disease. And, you know, people are deeply affected by seeing these deaths, by knowing they could be part of the transmission chain. And, you know, old people, their parents, their grandparents could be affected by this. And so you don't, you know.
When I first started doing this simple thumb trick to strengthen my memory, my friends laughed. But when they saw,
you don't get to say, ignore what's going on here. There will be the ability, particularly in rich countries, to open up if things are done well over the next few months. But for the world at large, normalcy only returns when we've largely vaccinated the entire global population.
Wow. Is he Italian, Donna?
No, thank God.
What's wrong with his hands?
I want to know.
I'm going to do. We have 1 minute left.
Who died and made him a doctor? That's what I want to know.
He's his own sign language person.
It's not only that. I mean, this is like, so, you know, let's not forget, we have to stand up to this stuff. This was 2 weeks to flatten the curve, close the whole country down for 2 years, and they get into a situation where the government's closed for, 6 weeks or whatever it was, and the world's coming to an end when the entire country couldn't even work for 2 years. And then you wonder why the economy's going to hell in a handbasket while Trump is trying to turn it all around. And now he says climate change is nothing. Gee, because he wants AI. And then he goes to the White House. Why? Will somebody please get in touch with the White House? Jack Posobiec's trying. Jack Posobiec is trying. Got to hand it to him. He was pretty good when Mandami went to the White House. That was pretty awesome. Anyhow, we need to lighten things up.
Yes, we do.
We need to lighten things up. There's no one better who can lighten things up and give us a good laugh than Archie Bunker and Meathead.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Bunker. No, let me tell you something, Mr. Stivic. You are a meathead. A meathead, dead from the neck up. Meathead. Oh, yeah. I see what your idea of a free country is. You're free to say anything you want, but if anyone disagrees with you, they're either thrown into jail or called a meathead, right?
That's right, because this is America, land that I love.
Well, I love it too, Mr. Bunker, and it's because I do. I protest when I think things are wrong.
And stand beside her. And guide her.
The right to dissent is the principle upon which this country was based.
With the light from above.
Listen to me. It's in the Bill of Rights.
From the mountains.
Why do you think we broke away from England to begin with, huh? Because we didn't agree with her. We demanded freedom.
With folks.
Gee, it's guys like you who don't listen to reason. I mean, you're not listening to anything. You're totally closed-minded. You're prejudice. You're prejudice. You're prejudice. Not anymore. I'm leaving. You're prejudice.
Get away from me. My home, sweet home.
Not fixing 2020 will damn our nation forever. The historic Maricopa County full forensic audit effort processed 20,895,610 digital and forensic images of varying formats, resulted in 208 million individual evidence-proof files. The system processed over 58 billion forensic measurements, resulting in over 2 trillion individual base computations. No hopium, no hype, just hardcore forensic evidence. Please make sure the Maricopa County Full Forensic Audit Archives survive. Donate now. So if you want what happened in the 2020 election fixed, then please donate to protect and secure this historic evidence. We can't do it without you. We need you. America needs you. Our future needs you. Please donate now.
Good Morning America is brought to you by Pfizer.
CBS Health Watch sponsored by Pfizer.
Anderson Cooper 360. Brought to you by Pfizer.
ABC News Nightline. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Making a difference. Brought to you by Pfizer.
CNN Tonight. Brought to you by Pfizer. Early Start. Brought to you by Pfizer. Friday night on Aaron Burnett Out Front. Brought to you by Pfizer.
This Week with George Stephanopoulos is brought to you by Pfizer.
Today's countdown to the royal wedding is brought to you by Pfizer.
And now a CBS Sports Update brought to you by Pfizer.
Meet the Press Data Download brought to you by Pfizer.
This portion of CBS This Morning sponsored by Pfizer.
On how to find the hidden sugars in the American family diet. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This portion of CBS This Morning sponsored by Pfizer.
Oh.
Hey everybody, this is Don Newen and Donna Fiducia with Cowboy Logic. And this episode is brought to you by ivermectin.
And we're back on Cowboy Logic.
Brought to you by ivermectin, by gosh.
Yep. Not
I took mine this morning.
Not brought to you by Pfizer. And a person who's been on the cutting edge of all this stuff is one Tom Renz. You got to love him. Let's bring him on. There he is.
Dude, you are bulking up, man.
Yeah, man. Even through your shirt. You and Alex Jones are going through like a transformation. What the heck? Show us your guns there.
Yeah.
Show us your guns there. Look at this.
I gotta keep in shape to fight these guys, man. They want us dead, they want us weak, they want us tired, and there's a certain truth that you got to keep those testosterone levels up because I have no interest in being a eunuch, despite the fact that that's what they want to turn us all into.
You really, it's great because you're just unfiltered at this point. You were with the America's Frontline Doctors. You testified so many times, like in front of the Senate, which I thought was huge. I still feel like we're not getting anywhere, though. I mean, seriously, all these people passing out, obviously since the vaccine, all you're seeing, our CBD guy does insurance. And he's saying they've never seen this many young adults having issues, dying at a younger age. I mean, it's almost like we're in denial at this point. Well, we are.
We absolutely are. Meanwhile, the president is meeting with Bill Gates and Anthony Bourla and firing MTG. I mean, I got to be honest with you guys. I think we are making a lot of progress, but I think none of us, I think everybody's going to be surprised. And I've been fighting this for a long time. One of the reasons that I'm so unfiltered at this point is because I just don't care. I've seen how deep the swamp is, but I don't think many people really realize how bad it actually is. I mean, it's another level. However bad you think it is, it's worse. And until you've seen it, and honestly, I've seen it very, very close up, it's still worse. Like I said, right now, you see Anthony Bourla, who's, I would argue, responsible for more deaths than Hitler. Yeah, I said it. I did. Globally, I mean, listen, his involvement on these vaccines, what's going to happen over the coming years, it's unforgivable. And they knew it. They knew the SV40 contamination was there because they have SV40 enhancers in these things, which can't be there by accident. They knew this stuff was there. They put out unsafe, ineffective drugs intentionally, and yet this guy is getting meetings with the White House instead of the big house. I don't understand it.
Well, we played earlier during the headlines a 1 minute Bill Gates rant. Bill Gates, telling you got to get the shot, and it's for your health, and so you can see grandma and all that. That was exactly 4 years ago, actually, the last couple of weeks. And how soon we forget. I mean, it's amazing to me how much the general public is willing to take. And then he turns around and says, oh, that whole thing about climate change, that was no good. After however many 30 years and all the ugly landscape, windmills we got to look at, because he wants his AI. And like you say, and then he meets with Trump at the White House. I mean, this seems to be, and I love Donald Trump, but it seems to be the big.
1 spoonful of honey with cinnamon before bed equals 0 memory collapse. The secret, the $1 billion
thing is the people around him again.
Yep.
Well, I mean, listen, we had Mike Pence, Bill Barr. He's got a history of putting bad people around him. And, Susie Wiles, I'm not supposed to say her name because, she's the most powerful person on the planet. Donald Trump said it. But the reality is she worked. And I don't even know, I have no public confirmation that she's given up her managing partner role at Mercury LLC to this point. But, she worked at Mercury LLC and Ballard Partners. But Mercury LLC is owned by Omnicom, which is a WEF partner, ran by BlackRock. So you've got all that. They've represented Pfizer. They've represented Gilead. They've represented Gavi. They've represented Alibaba. They've represented all these bad groups. They say, well, she didn't. Well, she's a managing partner. Who cares? I mean, just because she didn't work on the account, she was a managing partner. Now, it's interesting to me because Donald Trump, we all know Trump. We love Trump. I fought for Trump. I continue to fight for Trump. And I catch all sorts of hell on social media because people say, how can you still trust Trump? Listen, we have to have Donald Trump succeed in MAGA. We don't have anybody else doing MAGA. Okay, so we need Trump to be successful in that. That said, if you support MAGA and you support Donald Trump, you have to have the courage to say to him, Mr. President, we, the people who still love you, want you to be aware that you're surrounded by crooks. You're surrounded by people who don't have MAGA or Maha's best interest at heart. Don't tell me that you have Maha's best interest at heart if you're an attorney who represented Pfizer last year. That's Pam Bondi. Okay, don't tell me that you have MAGA's best interest at heart if you keep losing Epstein files and telling the president that they don't exist, despite the fact that we've known what Epstein did for 30 years. And, oh, by the way, you were AG in Florida while he was doing what he was doing in Palm Beach and didn't do anything. I wonder if there's any reason for that to be covered up. I wonder if there's any reason for some of this stuff to be swept under the rug. Yeah, and by the way, who put that AG in place? Well, her partner from Ballard Partners, Susie Wiles. We've been talking about this for a while. Now, maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe I am. And I've said from the beginning, because I caught all sorts of hell for bringing this up, hey, if I'm wrong, bring me some evidence and I'll apologize publicly. Show me some real evidence of 5D chess. But what I just shared with you was actual evidence. What I get is, oh, you don't know, you're on the outside. That's not evidence. I presented you evidence. And listen, I support the president. I don't support his staff. I support Bobby Kennedy. I don't support his staff. I support Tulsi Gabbard. I definitely don't support her staff. Okay? I want the people who I support to take the positions that they have been given and to lead from those positions. And if the staff underneath them can't do it, fire them. And that's what we're seeing right now. And it's undermining MAGA. It's undermining MAHA. And we're going to have 3 people show up at midterms, and it's going to be a disaster. If you believe in Trump, if you want to see Trump be there, you have to understand we lose the midterms, they will impeach Trump. He will be gone. Yeah. It will be the worst ever. And so you either back Trump and say, Trump, your people are undermining your positions. Nobody's going to support you having dinner with Mamdani. Nobody. Yeah. You're going to lose. You're going to have a depressed turnout. The MAGA-MAHA alliance is going to crumble if you keep having Bill Gates in the White House and Anthony Bourla. That's crumbling. We want to support you, Mr. President, so please quit doing stupid things and listening to crooked advisors.
And yet he's been so successful flying around the world. I know it's not something that we're going to see immediately, but he's bringing the business back to the United States that basically has gone totally out of this country for decades. You can't turn that around in 10 months. I understand that. But people want to see immediacy, you know, everything in life is that fast now. And it's very sad because what happens is people will go to socialism. Oh, you promise free stuff like Mondami. You don't really have any idea about anything because our public education system has dumbed you down and everything else in the last 30 or 40 years. And now we got Obamacare to talk about that we knew was, doomed to failure. There's so much that we really could be working on with the right people in place, like you say, and yet the low-hanging fruit is still gone. I mean, when we come back from the break, we got about half a minute here. I want to ask you about what's going on with Comey. I mean, yeah. And John Brennan. I mean, we're talking a guy who is an admitted communist, gets put in at the CIA. He speaks Arabic, and he's switched. He's not your nice, little Catholic Irish guy. He switched to Islam when he lived in the Middle East. He's a Muslim. He speaks Arabic. He was obviously put there by Barack Obama. And this is all coming into view. And now we have Dick Cheney's funeral. We'll get to all that right after this. More with Tom Renz on Cowboy Logic coming up.
I suffered so much pain.
So much pain.
So much pain.
I suffered so much pain. I was 14 years old.
I was 16 years old.
I was 16.
17.
14 years old.
This is me.
This was me.
This is me.
When I met Jeffrey Epstein.
This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein.
There are about 1,000 of us.
It's time to bring the secrets out of the shadows. It's time to shine a light into the darkness.
Welcome back to Cowboy Logic, everybody. That little buddy at the beginning of the show that's jamming on that guitar, Eric Woolard. He's been with us for a long time on this show. You got to go check him out. Go find him on YouTube and support him on YouTube. Follow him, subscribe, or whatever you got to do on YouTube. Eric Woolard. All right.
So we played the Epstein thing.
You just saw kind of a new thing that we played with regard to Epstein victims. Mm-hmm. I have one thing to say about this. Release it unredacted, and those that have committed crimes, regardless of who they are, pay the price.
Again, let's bring Tom Renz in. At RenzTom on X and TomRenz.com for all of his information, folks. Just go there because he is fighting. Again, here we have Pam Bondi. We'll release everything according to the law. According to the law, or I don't know what the exact wording was, but it was basically, according to the law. I mean, come on.
Yeah, then she starts an investigation, which, by the way, she had the paperwork, doesn't have the paperwork, has the paperwork again. Now she's got all sorts of paperwork because they passed the law, and she starts an investigation. Do you want to know why she's starting an investigation? Well, because the law says if it's under investigation, you can cover certain things up. Mm-hmm. So we'll have investigations endlessly to make sure that, nothing happens. And then we'll have cases like you see against Comey that are just trash cases that are designed to fail. I mean, this is appalling. This is absolutely appalling. And, you said something in the first segment, Donna, that's important. Everything Donald Trump himself is doing is going great. His peace deals, his international.
Does this simple egg trick really help fight off dementia? Well, the answer may surprise you. You've probably heard
trade agreements. All that stuff is great. That's the stuff he is personally doing. Everything his advisors are doing is going to garbage. But the problem is that the most important aspect of the presidency is what the president can do to ensure that the laws of America are carried out and enforced properly. And that would have lasting impact. The Epstein list, putting corrupt people in jail, that would change the swamp. That would drain the swamp. That would have an impact. But you can't do it when you have a crooked DOJ that won't get anything done. Listen, these guys are liars. It's demonstrable. When Bondi said she doesn't have the information, does have information, now they have to release the information, so we'll see what she's got. She obviously lied. When do you trust a liar? This is no different than when Anthony Fauci lied to us 100 times. I said, you can't trust a liar. Well, you can't trust a liar. But that's what we're having.
Tom, let me ask you this. I read someplace last week that, the big concern, or one of the big concerns with releasing an unredacted version of the Epstein files is that some of these individuals, if this gets out, could either cause economic disaster or national security implications. I can't think of a single individual that, if they are held accountable for any actions that involved Epstein, could cause economic disaster or national security problems. Is there anybody that I might be missing?
That's the most profound lie I've ever heard. And listen, if they were raping children, I don't care. I want them in jail. I don't care how rich you are. Being rich doesn't give you the right to rape children. And anybody who thinks that being rich gives you the right to rape children is a piece of garbage who I don't support.
I agree.
So, by the way, we're not going to get the unredacted complete list. Do you want to know why? The law has loopholes. Do you know what loopholes it has? Intelligence, anything that's intel, ongoing investigations. Mm-hmm. And by the way, the law requires that the Department of Justice release what it has, right? Now, everybody on the planet knows that Epstein was tied in with foreign intelligence. Now, we can argue, I can't prove which foreign intelligence he worked with. There's certainly a number of them that look likely, and they're allies. But he was definitely tied in with foreign intelligence. Do you know where that goes? State Department.
Yep.
A lot of this stuff isn't going to come out. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you're getting a half picture on. And, it's interesting that they would make that claim after they lied to us and said they don't have information, that there is no list, that there is no names, there is no this, there is no that. They lie. I don't care. I don't trust anyone who's had anything to do with the Epstein list, including this administration. Trump himself has been lied to. That's quite clear. He obviously had nothing to do with Epstein, nothing to do with the list. But guess who did? Pam Bondi looked the other way when she was AG in Florida. She looked the other way when he had a child rape ring going on out of his Palm Beach mansion. She ignored it. It was well known in Florida. I've talked to people. guy named Mike, who's been on my show a few times, Maha Mike. He went to the same high school that they were recruiting children from to go to Epstein's rape rings. So, I mean, he saw it firsthand. There's no question about what's happening. There's no question that there are people in positions with vested interest in making sure everything doesn't come out. I would like to know what was going on during Pam Bondi's tenure in Florida as AG at the Palm Beach mansion, and I'd like to know whether or not anybody's going to investigate that.
Yeah, Tom, this is low-hanging fruit. I mean, Hakeem Jeffries is out there, okay, and he could be the next Speaker of the House, and he outright asked Epstein for money. I mean, you know, all you hear is, you know, we need to pounce, we need to pounce. So it's always the left that pounces. The right sits there and just takes it. And to me, this Cheney funeral is in your face. As Steve Bannon says, it's in your grill, because you saw the uniparty there all at once. Trump and Vance, of course, were not allowed to come in there, obviously. Right. They weren't even invited. I mean, this is the uniparty. And then you've got the Bushes saying they're going to come back. Oh, boy. The weapons of mass destruction's coming back, and let's invade the next.
More
let's
J6
find
and Patriot Act.
Right, exactly. J6 and Lindsey Graham. We touched on that earlier. Meanwhile, Tulsi, to me, is doing an amazing job. And again, all this has been sent to the AG, and nothing's happening. Brennan, Clapper, Rice, Lynch, Yates, Monaco, Strzok, Stroke, Smirk. God, I miss Rush. Mueller, Page, Rosenstein, Jarrett, and Ben Rhodes. I mean, this is all low-hanging fruit. The 51 that signed the letter. How come they're not being looked at? Our national intelligence is like in the toilet.
It's an embarrassment. It's an absolute embarrassment. And I saw someone, because I posted something about it this morning, and someone says, oh, they need time to build the case. Listen, I am a local lawyer from Ohio. And yeah, I've done a few things at this point. But guess what? Using Google, Twitter, and a few AI engines, I could build a RICO case against a ton of these guys. I mean, and could have had it done months ago. The Department of Justice has more resources. They have endless resources, endless money. The best lawyers on the planet go to work there. These people could be in jail right now. Look at what Joe Biden did in the first 11 months of his tenure to the J6ers and everybody else that he was terrorizing with lawfare. Look at what he did to Donald Trump. This could be done. What we have here is a failure in the leadership of the DOJ. The DOJ is intentionally causing problems. They are not doing their job. Bondi spends her time on, trying to play the press on Fox instead of doing her job. And the problem is this is undermining Mega's confidence in Donald Trump. Yeah. We cannot Big time. Have Donald Trump fail. We have got to have him succeed. But it isn't going to happen when everybody's too afraid to tell him the truth. And the reality is that there are too many on our side who are absolutely terrified to say anything because they're worried about getting cut off. They're worried about their access. They're worried about this. They're worried about that. Listen, if you support MAGA and you support Donald Trump, you got to be willing to fight for it. And that means telling the truth. You can see what Trump is doing personally because it's working incredibly. You can see where he's good and where he's strong and where he's at home. Trump doesn't like lawyers. He doesn't, the DOJ, he wants it to run, but he doesn't run it. And he doesn't have experience there. And so he puts people in that he's told he can trust. But who's picking these people? And can he really trust them? And the evidence is quite clear. The Epstein debacle has caused more political damage to Donald Trump than almost anything other than his handling of Operation Warp Speed and the COVID jabs. But who told him how to handle both of those? And the problem is no one wants to talk about that. Mm-hmm. Those are both areas that are wildly out of his areas of expertise. But yet no one's talking about the advisors and experts who keep telling him what to say and do on it that is 100% wrong.
You know, and that's the thing, because he knows how to delegate authority. When he was running a construction company, he knew who the best people were, and it obviously wasn't political. This whole political angle is just throwing a monkey wrench.
And we also got to, and we're about to go to another break, but we need to remember that you mentioned earlier that Biden, at this time in his first year, there were tons of people,
700 to 800,
that were being arrested
J6ers.
And incarcerated and indicted in the whole 9 yards. here's what we got to remember. That wasn't Biden. Biden didn't know what the hell was going on.
That's
it
right.
was the people underneath Biden in all of these agencies, and they are still here. So we got Mr. Renz here for one more segment, and we're pretty thrilled about that.
At Renz Tom, and TomRenz.com is his website, folks. TomRenz.com. He's a fighter. He's a fighter, as we can see, and we got another segment coming right up.
One spoonful of honey with cinnamon before bed equals 0 memory collapse. The secret, the $1 billion.
Patriots Relief, your America First CBD company. We are Christian, conservative, and committed to helping you feel your best. Are you tired of chronic pain holding you back? It's time for a change. Experience the remarkable healing properties of CBD, expertly designed to alleviate pain and promote internal balance. Patriots Relief is here for you. Visit our website or call now. Use your promo code to unlock exclusive savings. Patriots Relief, helping you get out of pain and live life to the fullest.
With the great lawyer, Tom Renz, who is a fighter to the hilt, as you can see with his little...
And a good brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've known this guy a long time, been through a lot together, haven't we, brother?
Mm-hmm.
We have. I got to tell you, and for anybody watching, off air, Don and Donna, amazing people. I mean this when I say I'm honored to call them friends. They're just good people.
Yeah, it's our honor.
He must have gotten the check, you said.
Yes, I think he did. Yes. But when we go to full screen, you'll see the axe behind him, because that's what it is. And his axe. I love that from Lord of the Rings.
Favorite.
Yep.
That's my favorite thing. My kids got that for me one year for Father's Day, because basically they think I'm a barbarian.
Yeah, I got a bunch of those for my kids.
Just don't give them 40 whacks, man.
Yeah, exactly. So,
right. I want to get into Comey.
We're doom and gloom
I want to get into Comey.
This is bad.
Well, it is doom and gloom, quite frankly. It sucks.
What if he walks? What if he walks?
What do you think's going to happen? Look into that Tom Renz crystal ball and tell me what you think's going on with Comey, and then any of these other intelligence individuals that really should be held accountable.
Well, so the case filed against Comey is a joke, in my opinion. I think you're going to see slaps on the wrist, nothing substantial. I wouldn't be surprised if they just throw the case. It's interesting because here's how you look at this, right? So go back to the Diddy case. The Diddy case, where they let Comey's daughter run the case so that she could throw it and cover up for the stuff that was happening. They didn't file the right charges. They didn't go after it the right way. They made all sorts of amateur mistakes that, the DOJ doesn't make these mistakes unless they're doing it intentionally. Same thing with Comey. The charges filed are a joke. There's a trillion things he could have been charged with that would have been much more impactful. There's 100 ways that you could prosecute this that would have been more effective. And instead, they make a joke out of this whole thing. It's a showpiece to me. They're not doing... Listen, I wanted to be excited about this Justice Department. I wanted to be excited about Cash and Bongino and Bondi and everyone else. And I've tried. But when I look at this stuff as a lawyer, and I look at just the basics of this, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. There are so many things that could be done to fix this country, to bring accountability, to put these guys behind you, but they won't do it. They just won't do it. There is no reason from the legal standpoint that they aren't doing it. It's just there's no political will. So what I think we're going to see is a whole lot of nothing. But there is good news, though. I can't say we're losing MTG, which to me is a tragic loss. I like MTG. Mm-hmm. I do.
She's her district, though, is pretty red. I think, we'll be okay there, but still.
Yeah, but we aren't going to have another MTG.
She's MTG.
Yeah, exactly.
So, whatever we get, I hope that there's something that's comparable, but, we'll see. But regardless, I don't think it's all doom and gloom, though. one of the things that I'm seeing is there are a lot more, and I read the social media, because social media is now the best metric for determining what's going to happen and what's going on, the kind of the temperature for this country. And I really listen, X has a lot of problems. The algorithm sucks right now, but I like X. You can say what you want. Yeah. And I'm watching, and a lot of the bigger social media influencers who are not political class, they're influencers who built their influence talking about politics, but they're not politicians. Those are the ones you want to watch. A ton of them that have been diehard, 100% trust the plan, are starting to ask questions. People are waking up. What's going to happen is if a sufficient number of people wake up in this country, Donald Trump has always been very responsive. He's always listened to his people. Now, there's a bunch of people around him who are doing everything they can to make sure he doesn't know what's going on, in my opinion. But if Trump sees enough pushback on social media, he's going to take steps. So if he sees enough pushback from we the people, if things start coming out there, and unfortunately, they're running fake polls just like the Democrats do. But if enough people wake up, if we get enough people saying, listen, Mr. President, we want to support you. We need you to know that you've got crooked people lying to you. If that happens on a large enough scale, I think we're going to get there, and we're getting there. The Epstein thing was so mishandled that people can't overlook it. People can't. I mean, the 50-year mortgage thing is just a gift to the big banks. It's a WEF. You'll own nothing and be thankful for it. Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I put out a post. It's pinned to the top of my Twitter profile. We now have digital IDs in this country. They did in the UK. We're doing thing after thing after thing that the base just can't tolerate. And it's getting to the point where people are going to start saying, hey, Trump, you're doing all these wonderful things. You're bringing the economy back. You're making deals. You're bringing peace. Why is your administration 100% against MAGA anywhere that you aren't involved? And so I think that's
the big picture.
Well, we got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, there's one place and pretty much one time of day where he doesn't have that bubble encasing him. And that's in the middle of the night when he's awake and everybody else is asleep and he's on social media. So let's hope he doesn't stop doing that.
I often say I wish he would get off truth a little bit because it's kind of an echo chamber and go on to X and see things. I mean, there's so much low-hanging fruit that the left keeps pushing, like the seditious six. I mean, how can you not go after that? I mean, it's like, okay, let's 86, 47 drawn in the
because
in the
there's
sand.
More people in his bubble that would be just fine with him being impeached than there are not.
And again, Cheney's funeral put it right in our faces. It's the left and the right. It was the uniparty. And Bush wants to get back into politics.
Tom, we've only got about 3 minutes left here, and I want to give you some time to talk about something very exciting that, ladies and gentlemen, we've got inside knowledge on. But we're not going to really disclose everything right this second. But, Tom, something very exciting that you're working on. You want to share that with us?
I am. I am going to be taking a position and trying to help a wonderful, wonderful person, and I'm not going to announce it yet, but a good friend of mine is going to be running for U.S. Senate. Very credible candidate, has a legitimate shot, and I'm going to be helping with that, and I'm very excited about it. I mean, listen, one of the things that we're seeing is people are waking up, and a lot of the we the people types are starting to step up and do the right thing. We have that happening, and I've been asked to be a part of a lot of different things. I'm very hesitant to be involved with anything political because unless I'm 100% sure you're not for sale, I'm probably not going to be able to back you. I mean, I'll support you. I supported Donald Trump, and I still support Donald Trump, but I don't support everything he's doing. So, in this case, I've evaluated everything. I've looked at everything. I know this person real well, and I'm not going to say the name of this show, but I am going to come back here, and I'm going to talk to you about it, and we're going to have all sorts of stuff on it because but I am going to take an active position and trying to make sure that we have this candidate for U.S. Senate in a position where she there's my hat.
There we go. We've narrowed it down. We're 50% closer to finding out who this might be. I think I might have an idea now.
Ladies, be careful with this gelatin trick, okay? I used it for just 10 days and lost 26 pounds. I actually had to stop because I was burning fat so fast that people thought I was sick.
If we don't fix the elections, I mean, the SAVE Act, again, another thing that's not getting pushed through. Milquetoast Johnson doesn't do anything. Codify Doge. Things have to be, everything Trump has done needs to be codified. If the elections aren't fixed, we're screwed. I mean, you've still got Jocelyn Benson over there in Michigan, walking around. Jenna Griswold in Colorado, who did 10 times worse than what Tina Peters did. And Tina Peters is in prison, and Jenna Griswold still is running for higher office. I mean, this is crazy. All this low-hanging fruit that nothing is getting done. Frustrating.
Tom, very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, Tom has shared with us off camera what he's talking about there. Mm-hmm. And he will come back and announce when the time is right. But I can tell you this. This is cool.
Yeah.
This is cool.
And we need MAGA candidates. We've got one in North Carolina with Don Brown. And he's been endorsed by General Flynn, not once but twice, running against Michael Whatley, who ran the RNC and didn't do a damn thing for the Republican Party down ballot. It's so frustrating.
Well, we've got to do some things on it. We've got to retake the Republican Party for sure. And one of the things that's you brought up Michigan and Colorado. Another hint for your viewers. Michigan's pretty close to me, by the way.
Okay, you got 15 seconds. You got 15 seconds here, though.
We know
have got
Michigan.
To take these blue states that are actually red. Colorado and Michigan are as red as can be. They've been stolen. We have to fix that.
They've all been stolen. New Jersey was stolen. I'm sorry. You had 500,000 new voters in New Jersey, and they didn't even have 500,000 new people move in.
Tom Renz, we love you, brother. Tom Renz.
We got to have you back on again.
Just remember this. Female, Michigan.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after this.
TomRenz.com and RenzTom on X. Hey everybody, let's talk about great goods for your hair, your skin, your nails, and that would be sugarcreekgoods.com. In fact, when we come down into the studio, everything smells so great because we leave this down here. This is the masculine soap collection. Little making noise here, but there's 4 bars of soap, and boy, does it smell good. And I love the facial toner. They have insect repellent as well. They've got shampoos. They've got skin moisturizers. SugarCreekGoods.com. And again, all kinds of great soap. And I was weeding the other day, so they sent me some poison ivy creams here. Luckily, I didn't need it. But again, folks, anything that you want as far as skincare, they've really got a great product line. Check them out at SugarCreekGoods.com. Promo code 1776 for your discount. And it supports Cowboy Logic and a great patriotic company. SugarCreekGoods.com. Promo code 1776. And Merry Christmas.
Hey everybody, Don Newen with Cowboy Logic here. Talk about our newest sponsor, Nemo Arms. NemoArms.com. Trot over to that website and check it out. You're going to be blown away at the quality and craftsmanship behind these fine weapons. It's the only weapons company Cowboy Logic endorses. Nemo Arms at NemoArms.com. You want a 223-556 AR platform? NemoArms.com. You want to bump it up a little bit, go to a 300 blackout? NemoArms.com. You want to get one of them big boys? How about a 300 Win Mag that won't take your shoulder off because they have fine-tuned the recoil problem? NemoArms.com. We got lightweight models. We got the big stout 458s. These are huge. Hey, Nemo Arms, NemoArms.com. They've also got a beautiful selection of shotguns over and under. Nemo Arms, NemoArms.com. Go check it out. We reached out to Val about a month and a half ago and said, would you ever consider creating a Cowboy Logic collection of soaps and body butter? And she said, absolutely. So we had to come up with 2 or 3 cents, S-C-E-N-T-S, that were kind of indicative to what we do.
You told me that you had a guest bedroom in your house that had tack, saddles and tack in it. And so you were looking for something that was leathery. So that's what we've got. Tack room. Probably can't read it, but it is leather, bergamot, and musk, because I wanted a little more than just leather. I wanted to mix and match and tweak it a bit. And so it smells really good. I was actually pleasantly surprised with the smell. And then Barn Party, it's like this. It is hay, balsam, vetiver, and cinnamon. You said that you were kind of looking for something that would smell like a horse. And so I had to really do some serious research on what does a horse smell like?
Horses actually do have, we have a couple horses that have a real sweet smell to them.
All right, talk about Silver Fox.
This one was special just for Don. And he was telling me about the cologne that his mother had bought for him years ago. And he stopped using it after she passed because he didn't want it to run dry. And so I looked up the cologne. I'm not going to mention who or what it is, but I looked up the cologne. And because it's no longer made, they were able to post online their top notes, middle notes, and base notes. So I got them all.
Ladies and gentlemen, you want to get something cool, go pick up the Cowboy Logic collection, sugarcreekgoods.com. Use your promo code 1776. We're not making any money off of any of this. Any of the proceeds, the 20% of it, that Val makes, it's going to the J6ers. Welcome back to Cowboy Logic. Usually after the drums, it's a very festive moment. It's not right now. No. Our next guest is going through living hell. He had everything: money, family, career, and out of the Southern District of New York, the federal government is going after that and has gone after it.
This is the only thing you need to know about skin tags, dark spots, and moles. Did you know that skin imperfections, even the most stubborn ones you've had for years...
You have better eyes than I do, so I'll turn it over to you to do the intro on Michael here. But
well, in general, Michael Castellero was living the American dream. He's a legal immigrant, and he basically was a Trump supporter. And quite honestly, I believe that's why he was targeted. So Ron, let's bring him on. Michael,
all right, Michael.
Your story to me, and what caught my attention is the fact that it's very similar to Jan 6 as far as being targeted. There's nothing you could have done that would have made you not guilty, which is the really bad part of this whole thing. Plus the fact it's in the Southern District of New York, which is a cesspool as it is. So tell everybody what exactly, tell us your story, pretty much.
In 2017, we been in the financial industry a very long time. In 2017, me and two business partners, friends, colleagues, opened a private equity fund. We called the company Straight Path Venture Partners. And we were predicated on buying private shares of companies before they went public. And we had some very good connections to buy these shares based on industry rules and so on. Coming to 2018 into 19, Jay Clayton, under President Trump's first term, wants to make it more available to the regular investor. So we were just a regular fund. We were doing okay, but when the rules got relaxed, our business kind of exploded. Everybody wanted to invest in pre-IPO. Jay Clayton's doing interviews about it. Hence the demand. Every boutique brokerage firm on Wall Street wanted to invest with us. Other funds wanted to invest with us. The regular mom and pop investor wanted to invest with us. It was something that went bonkers on us. And we exploded through the blessings of Mr. Trump. And then 2021 comes around. And all of a sudden, rules change. People are leaving, administration changes. And all of a sudden, us as an exempt reporting advisor, which means that we just basically had to report what we were doing, how the investments were being managed, but we were being ultra compliant just because one of my business partners was a compliance person and she wanted to be ultra compliant, above and beyond. So they decided on voluntary information that we provided, to build a case to take the company from us, and then 2 years later indict us criminally as well.
So you basically reap the benefits of companies going public for your clients, and you did very well, extremely well. And so, but the real downfall, it seems, is that one of the main companies that you invested in was Palantir.
Yes.
So, I mean, but even then, I don't know what Palantir is now per share, but you bought it low and you sold it to your investors. You made them a lot of money, but I think that obviously made you a target.
Target, Republican donations, Trump Organization events, social media posts about election robbery and so on. I mean, they paraded in the court case, in the criminal case a couple of weeks ago, me and my wife's Instagram account about all the money and the lavish things that we were doing. But that means that they saw every Biden's an idiot post, the election stolen post between me and my wife. I mean, COVID, like most people, opened our eyes and took us down the rabbit hole of us basically reposting and doing things of that sort that made us a target.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they used all that social media posts in your trial. Am I correct?
They did.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. They cherry picked the ones that they wanted to use.
That's what we're finding with J6.
There are so many similarities to what you've got going on in your life right now and what the J6ers have had to deal with. We've got about 3 minutes left in this segment. We're definitely having you back for a second segment, but let me ask you this. You have gone from the American dream to the American nightmare. And your family has been on that ride with you. Talk to us, talk to our beloved viewers about what life is like in your family right now and what they're all having to put up with, because I know your kids are paying the price too.
I don't know how I'm going to put food on the table anymore. I really don't. What they've done to me is nobody should live through it. Now that my son's 13, right? Me and my wife did a good job of hiding everything, right? Like from the kids to a point that they knew, but they didn't know to the point that now my son is 13 and the middle school kids are going up to him and telling him, oh, your dad's a thief. Can't have that. I worked so hard to build such a good business, and for having political beliefs, I feel like I've been punished to the point that I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to lose everything, and then the government's still trying to take it away from me on top of it. I'm going to lose it on my own because I can't afford it. And now they're still trying to take everything.
You know, you had a simple mission. Open the doors to pre-IPO shares in basically unicorn companies and Palantir, Lyft, Airbnb, SoFi. I mean, you had invested in 24 private companies, 7 of which went public. You were doing the right thing for your clients. That's what's so frustrating.
So frustrating. And then when they took the company from us in the civil matter, Judge Lewis Kaplan, which it's, he's the one in the middle of the E. Jean Carroll case with President Trump. He basically, so, all right, we agreed to all their terms because they got a gun to our head and basically we're against the wall. And we agreed to everything that they say. We tell them to appoint, they want to appoint the receiver, take the company from us. So we choose 3. And the government chose 3.
All right, hold that thought, because I want you to be able to finish it, and we've got a hard break here. Ladies and gentlemen, you see this crawl going, well, you saw the crawl going across the screen. When we come back, you're going to see it again. This is a family that needs help. And I know we come to you guys a lot, but you're action people. You're watching Cowboy Logic. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, Donna Fiducia here to talk to you about Cowboy Logic Laser.com. And boy, do we have so many.
Attention law enforcement. You took an oath to protect and serve, to keep your family, your neighborhood safe. But in too many cities, dangerous illegals walk free as police.
Goodies. We have the glasses. Well, first of all, we have the highball glasses and your cocktail glasses, Cowboy Logic Laser.com. Or you have the carpenter pencils, which Don loves so much, and he shows them all the time on our show. And, well, it comes with a sharpener, too. CowboyLogicLaser.com. And you got coffee mugs. Anything you want, they can laser it on. Now, this one I'm not even going to open up because I almost chopped my finger off first time, but they do have a Cowboy Logic laser knife as well. Anything you want, CowboyLogicLaser.com. CowboyLogicLaser.com. Promo code 1776 gets you 10% off, folks. And the stuff is just really great. It supports the show, and we really do appreciate it. CowboyLogicLaser.com. With Michael Castellero. again, his company, Straight Path Venture Partners, did what was right for their clients. They made them a lot of money. One of the biggest things that they invested in, though, was Palantir. And, just quickly, Michael, I looked up Palantir, and the first thing that comes out is arguably one of the most notorious corporations in contemporary America. That's on Wired. And many people have said it's a lot worse than that. It's obviously a company that is going into all of our privacy, knows everything about us. But you made money. That's not what you were there for. You were there to find what was the best investment for your people, which you did. And in my opinion, and I think if people found out more about what happened with you, is they've indicted a ham sandwich. If they want to go after you, they're going to. So talk about the Southern District of New York, which in and of itself, right off the bat, we all know after working with Jan Sixers, with, judges, and the rule of law is out the window in so many of these districts.
It's like stepping into the devil's den. I mean, for a very long time, my wife would watch when Mr. Trump was going through what he was going through in Southern District of New York, and she'd be like, all I have to do is change your name to his name, and you guys are basically living the same exact reality, the same nonsense, the same bag of lies, that they just continuously want to do this. I mean, it's ridiculous what they've done to us. I mean, from we had 2.5 weeks of court case, and I'm telling you right now, every day we left, our lawyers were smiling. Every person that they brought in, experts that they paid millions of dollars to come debunk what we did and so on, they're leaving with their tails between their legs. They're being proven liars. Every step of the way, everything, and every step of the way. The jury is basically checked out on when the prosecution's asking questions. Lawyers who watch the jury, all 6 lawyers are like leaving with smiles. They're like, and listen, my lawyer's a worrywart. He's the first guy that'll tell you, he'll tell you all the bad news, and at the end, he's telling me we are looking great. At the same time, when we get to sentencing, the judge basically says, he goes like this, he goes, don't worry, all this is appealable. And look into the investment advisor fraud charge. And all our lawyers lost their and pardon my French, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And then he basically goes, no, it's my courtroom. I can do whatever I want. The Judge Jesse Furman was basically a 4th lawyer for the prosecution.
This is the lawyer that stopped the deportations that Trump was trying to do. And the other, judge, and the other judge that was in there was the E. Jean Carroll case. And when she couldn't remember when and where she allegedly was assaulted by Trump. But, you've got Mr. LinkedIn behind her, throwing money at her and everything else. It's so... The problem is right there on your shirt. I'm sorry, 45-47. And you've got a Trump hat to your left there. I mean, this is the problem. As soon as you were targeted because of your beliefs.
Yes.
Michael, I've got 2 things. We've got about 6.5 minutes left. There's 2 things that I would like. One, I'd like to ask you. The second, I would like to ask for you to do. The first is, what are your lawyers telling you that the worst case scenario with regard to sentencing for you, which will take place in March, what could you potentially be looking at? I'll let you answer that, and after you're done, I've got something I want to ask you to do.
They think it could be, a 25-year. All charges are 25 years, and just because he just chose to change the rules at the 1 yard line, basically. It's absurd.
And how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 48.
Okay.
So it's a life sentence. It's unbelievable.
Now, you've got a great lawyer, and what needs to happen is that you need a presidential pardon. It's that simple. It's that simple. You could rebuild your life. You could rebuild the life of your family if you receive that presidential pardon. I would like to give you as much time as you would like to speak not only to the American people, but to President Trump.
You know, it's so funny, right? You hear all the time, especially now with the whole Arctic Frost, with the Jack Smith saying that if they could do it to me, they could do it to you. They're doing it to me. I'm a nobody. I got lucky meeting you guys, you know, meeting Donna through Shelley on Twitter, and because I haven't stopped it, and I believe it's a story that needs to be shared because they're doing it to us. They did it to me just because of my beliefs. I believe the 2020 election was stolen. I've been very vocal of it. I moved to Florida. I wanted to be around people like myself by frequenting Trump properties and so on. I even went to the announcement. I mean, you can name it when he announced he was running again. They're doing it to me because of my beliefs. They're doing it daily. And there's so many people that are nobody that are getting hurt. There's probably a million stories that we don't even know about. Right? There's so many probably other people that are just giving up, but I can't give up. I have a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old. And a wife, and I've broken my ass to give them everything. And I can't let it be taken away. I have been run through the mill. I have been embarrassed. They've been embarrassed. My wife has had multiple people come up to her. Oh, yeah, the only reason why you guys live in that neighborhood is because your husband stole money from old people. I mean, you know, it's I've been through the ringer to a point that I thought they were better off without me. And that's how dark.
There's one simple skin clearing hack that anyone can use to improve the appearance of stubborn marks on demand. Did you know that your skin can naturally push out buildup beneath the surface? Most people don't know this, but the real reason behind skin tags, moles, and dark spots has nothing to do with getting older or being in the sun, but instead
the government has the potential to do for you. And I can't stop fighting for them. I just can't. I really can't.
You know, the info you gave them was voluntary in all of this because you knew that you didn't do anything wrong. You didn't have any complaints even against your company. That's what's so ridiculous. You made money for the little guy.
We were so, my business partner, she has 35 years of compliance experience. We've wanted to be ultra compliant because of the ultra level of the growth of the business under the rules. More people wanted to do business with us. We were listed on the Charles Schwab platform, which is probably one of the hardest things to do unless you're just a regular stock. I mean, Charles Schwab is probably the most ultra compliant firm that anybody can open an account on and do business in. They cleared us to be on their platform. They wanted our product there. Any other boutique brokerage firm that wasn't a Goldman Sachs or a Morgan Stanley, this is a money grab all the way across. I've said it from day one. They wanted to steal our business. And the receiver, who's Judge Kaplan's friend, that's what I say all the time, whether they are or they're not, because Judge Kaplan, we gave him a list of 3 receivers to give the company to, including one that was connected to our accountant that had all our books. And the Securities and Exchange Commission gave them gave them 3 receivers to give to, Judge Kaplan just said, no, screw you. I'm going to appoint my own person. And Bill Clinton appointed Judge Kaplan. The receiver has made probably about over $30 million, I think. That's the number that we had and they're pocketing the money. And we've had another 4 or 5 companies go public. Some are up 4x from when they went public, from when the customers invested in, and they're causing customer losses, which is another thing that bothers me.
All right. Well, I mean, because you're doing what's right, Mike. You're doing what's right for your people. Okay. GiveSendGo.com. Justice for Mike C. You see it there on your screen. And at Mike CO921 on social media. Mike, we got to have you back and give us an update on this. But again, you are just the latest that we're seeing as in this lawfare and the targets against people who are backing Donald Trump. We'll be back with more Cowboy Logic right after this.
Patriots Relief, your America First CBD company. We are Christian, conservative, and committed to helping you feel your best. Are you tired of chronic pain holding you back? It's time for a change. Experience the remarkable healing properties of CBD, expertly designed to alleviate pain and promote internal balance. Patriots Relief is here for you. Visit our website or call now. Use your promo code to unlock exclusive savings. Patriots Relief, helping you get out of pain and live life to the fullest.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
I'm a J6er, and I spent 3 months in jail and about a year in prison.
I spent 4 years out of an 18-year sentence in prison.
J6ers have been smeared and defamed by the media, persecuted by the government, and treated like terrorists.
In reality, J6ers are patriotic men and women, mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers from all walks of life.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
And we need your help.
For just $10 or more, you're helping these patriots get mental, physical, and spiritual help.
Please scan the QR code or go to j6support.com to donate $10 or more to support these American patriots.
Thank you for being a patriot. Thank you for standing in the gap.
Ink on the indictment, still wet with your blood. Judges on payroll, gavels banging like a flood. Solitary key, just 23-hour black. They want us to crack, but we breathe through the crack. Letters to my daughter, smuggle past the gods. Tell mommy I'm innocent, carved in the yard. You burn the flag of freedom on a global stage. We'll torch your narrative in a white-hot rage. And you feel the tremor in the prison yard ground. 1,500 souls still making that sound.
All right, welcome back to Cowboy Logic, everybody. As we have done nearly 4 years, something, four and a half years.
This is a biggie.
Yeah, this is very special. This is very special. But before we bring this next guest in, I want to remind the Trump administration that there are still very important, very high-quality individuals that have not yet been pardoned.
That are still there, too.
Yeah. And that's the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys. And we had that special last week, and we're trusting that the Trump administration is going to do the right thing and get these individuals pardoned so they can get on with their lives. You know, having said that,
Kelly Meggs had the best text to me, and I got to repeat it. I think we should name the White House turkeys Oath Keepers and Proud Boys. Yeah. This way they can get pardoned.
Yeah.
I think that's really
and that is funny, and Kelly's full of he's amazing how at his darkest times he was able to
find a sense of humor.
But we're damn serious about this.
Yeah.
Now we're about to celebrate a pardon. And a rather historical one, because as far as we can tell, this is the only person that has received 2 pardons from President Trump, and that is one Dan Wilson. Dan, welcome to Cowboy Logic, sir.
Hey, Dan.
Welcome to your freedom. We could not be happier for you. I know you agree with everything that I just said before we brought you on, and that is there are still those that deserve a pardon and need to have one, and that's the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys that were only commuted. But, sir, welcome back to freedom. I can't imagine how good this Thanksgiving is going to be for you and your family. Welcome home, brother. Welcome home.
I appreciate it, and it's good to be home, and I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. We've got a little bit of surprise for you here. And Carolyn Stewart, one of your great lawyers, sent us an email this morning and said, I just got this. You're now the second to have it. Dan's going to have it, but he hadn't seen it yet. And that is...
Here it is.
The official pardon with the seal. Donald J. Trump, your official pardon, brother. That came to us in an email, and... You've got 2 of these now. That's pretty cool.
Give us the history, because a lot of folks don't understand. I mean, you're no longer still there, thank God. But this is the second time this has happened. So give us a little history of what happened with your pardons.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it was just a lawfare. It didn't stop for me. I was released on the initial pardon. And then the courts found a way to send me back. And so that's basically what happened with that.
And how long were you out and at home after January? Because like most of them, I'm assuming you got out early morning of the 21st, sometime on the 21st. How long were you able to enjoy your
Never mix gelatin with these other 3 ingredients if you don't want the effects of Mounjaro in your body and to see your pants falling off.
Newfound freedom, and then all of a sudden have to report back?
3 days. They didn't have any way to contact me, so they contacted the person I had down as my emergency contact and told me I needed to report back to probation and parole to return to prison. So I just called the lawyers and, started that process. And then it was 10 weeks later, April 2nd, is when I actually had to turn myself back in. As best we can tell, the courts literally reached out. My judge or whatever reached out to probation and parole just as soon as they heard I was out. And, they were charges from the J6 search warrant execution.
Right.
So those were here in Kentucky. And the locals weren't very happy about my release either. I'm sure they're even happier today.
You talking about the prosecution and the folks in the courts locally there where you are, right?
Correct. I'm in a liberal sanctuary city, blue. We dealt with the riots and stuff here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You want to get something. You want to make something very clear to our beloved viewers and the American people, and that is, and ladies and gentlemen, we had a discussion on the phone, Dan and I and Donna, about this. He feels very strongly that he was mislabeled, and he considers that mislabel stolen valor. And Dan, I want you to be able to set the record straight right here for the American people so that you can put that whole thing to rest.
I appreciate the opportunity for that. I would like to start out, God bless my Mr. President Trump. All the advocates out there, everybody, that's been in this battle for not just me, but for everybody. But, my support network, just everybody that made sure they supported me in every different which way they could. I'm really humbled. I really am. And I'm very thankful. There really aren't any words to express my gratitude to the American people, my friends, my family, the patriots and brothers and sisters that I've come to meet over the years throughout this process, going back before January 6, 2021. I just want to, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. So to get what you were talking about there, bringing up a lot of the news stories, of course, when I got out, and I run with the Threepers and the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers and stuff. I was one of those security guys out there, the school board meetings during the riots, rallies, whatever. Wherever you needed me, that's where I was. But I am not an official Oath Keeper. I hold those guys to a standard in my brain, and they're good people, and I don't want to have that label on me because I haven't earned that label. And I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yep. And I know that when you brought this up to me, you used the term, you felt like by being labeled that way, if you didn't correct this, you felt that was stolen valor. And while we clearly understand that in the military sense, it's not stolen valor, but you wanted to set the record straight. And Dan, I know the Oath Keepers appreciate that. I also know that they appreciate when you did assist them. Absolutely, they do. So at any rate, we got about 2 minutes left here before we got to go to the first break. Let's talk a little bit about what being home for Thanksgiving is going to mean to you here, because I know you weren't counting on that.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be outstanding. Family's excited. Can't wait. It's just a glorious week. It's just a glorious week. They knocked on my door at like 7:30 Friday night. My knees went weak. I just raised my hand, said, "Praise Jesus." This probably be the best Thanksgiving ever. It really will.
Thanksgiving in the truest sense of the word.
Yeah.
How many years were you in prison, or how many months?
I served a total of almost 20 months.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
And when we get back from the break, Dan, if you want to talk a little bit about, that time, we can certainly have more time because we've only got about 50 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take a note of the crawl that's going across the top. First of all, at D-Dog, and I don't have my glasses on, so I'm having trouble reading that.
10890344.
Yep, that's his social media handle on X, and then the very important Give, Send, Go. All of these J6ers, when they ended up having the wrath of the federal government come down on them, this guy's a master electrician.
Yeah. And
things ended. So when we get back, we're going to talk a little bit about how we can all help get Dan back on track here as J6 coverage continues on Cowboy Logic. We'll be right back.
Dan, you want to know what I love? What's up, brother? I love Don and Donna to death. They've been so supportive of January 6th and all. But man, when you come to visit them, they put you to work.
Dude, they just made us mow 62 acres on riding lawnmowers.
Yeah, and then they made me, under the hot sun, build a whole Lego set.
But you know what, though? One good thing about coming here is they always offer you a nice cold bath.
Absolutely.
And what better way to have a nice cold bath than with Sugar Creek Goods? I'm using the Sunshine Serenity.
And I was using the Valentine's surprise, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll tell you what, if you've got a bath going and you're not using Sugar Creek goods, you're missing out.
Dude, just look how it lathers up. It's just amazing. So make sure that you don't miss out. You go to sugarcreekgoods.com.
Oh, and you know what else? They've been very supportive of January 6th and the entire community. So you actually got to buy them for that fact alone, on top of the fact that they got great goods.
So just make sure that everybody that you support them because they support us. Go to sugarcreekgoods.com.
Thank you, guys. Love you.
You want to pay J6ers? You're damn right I want to pay J6ers. If you got wronged by the government, then you should be made right. That's America.
We're going to pay J6ers. In fact, I think we're about 6 to 8 million each. If we look at what the Arctic Frost senators said they wanted, 500,000 for every single device.
Yeah, but here's,
it gets up to about 6 to 8 million each.
Hey, listen.
I'd say
none of those lawmakers that wanted all that money, that awarded themselves that money, none of them had to spend 4 years in prison.
So let's make it 10 million each. I'm sorry. But what I'm saying
I want
is,
more.
It's so ridiculous how they were able to try to squeeze that in. And Speaker Johnson supposedly is going to say no, but I'm not holding my breath. All right. Dan Wilson is no longer still there. And this is awesome. Again, let's reiterate, Dan, you were released with a pardon initially, right when Trump took office. And the next thing you know, they went back after you for all kinds.
Imagine waking up to see your bank balance frozen, not because of fraud, but because of policy. Sounds crazy.
Kinds of other garbage. So you went back in, and Carolyn Stewart has just done some great work. And it took this long to finally get you out. And your shirt, unapologetically deplorable, basically says how you feel, because just like on 9/11, people who have that service mentality, even though you're not a policeman or a fire department or anything like that, a fireman or anything like that, but you did feel the urge to serve your country. You would run into that building as opposed to away, just like you've done through the entire 10 years or so that Trump was running for office. You went all around the country. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I just, my heart talked to me one day. God led me. And I just felt like that I had some skill sets that could be utilized. I got tired of watching the political violence. Like you mentioned a few minutes ago, I'm a master electrician. I work. That's what I do. I keep your lights on. I do a lot of big commercial, industrial kind of work. But I just got tired of seeing my country going in the toilet, and I wanted to be a part of the remedy. And I don't consider myself a tough guy by any stretch of the imagination, but I got tired of seeing the political violence, and I wanted to go out and help put a stop to that as best I could. The parents at the school board meetings being shut down, so I held the line against law enforcement too when they were being tyrannical. I don't consider myself left or right. I consider myself an independent constitutionalist. And don't get me wrong, I like Trump, and he's my man. After what he's done for me, how can I never have, not have his six? But for me, it was just, it was being there for my community. It was never about me. I'm never married, no kids, but, it was about them babies and the next generation. And just, all the COVID stuff. And it was just ridiculous, in 2020. So that really got me out there. And just like on J6, my prime mission was to just protect people from Antifa. That's basically what it was.
What did you see on J6?
I saw a little bit of a mix. Guess I can talk about it now, huh? I come up I was down at the Ellipse by the Washington Monument for the speech. I came up through National Mall. The crowd was so big, ran into the reflection pond, went to the left, went around it, come across the grass in that area and ended up going up the steps next to the left scaffolding. And I went through the Senate wing door at 2:37.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way that you knew that you shouldn't be there. These doors were that, from what we've seen, were wide open, and all anybody saw that sprung into action was grannies getting shoved down the steps, people getting hit with rubber bullets and tear gas, and it was like shooting into a hornet's nest. It was a mostly peaceful protest until the government took action, and that's, in my opinion, why they keep trying not to show us the 44,000 hours. Luckily, with what we've done through the years, we've seen an awful lot of it, but it's pretty obviously it was a Fed surrection. I got to ask you, I shouldn't say this, but I would. You didn't see the pipe bomber anywhere, though, did you?
No, I did. No, I worked. That's one of the things about what I do, man. I come in when I'm needed, and then I get back out of there pretty much. I worked the day before. I drove all night, and then I came there. I've done that many and many a time where I don't basically sleep for 3 or 4 days. But, one thing I'd like to bring up, too, is because they made a big deal about it. I donned a gas mask and stuff. But, see, I think that falls back on, and this is part of the problem where we weren't allowed to really have our own defenses and speak our truths, because I'd done so much work in the riots. I mean, I've been on the front line many and many times, screaming in my face, acting a fool, whatever. We're there to protect people, places, businesses, things of that nature. So I know what it is to have my discipline, but I think I got a little tunnel vision, honestly, because like you said a minute ago, some people run away and some people run forward, and I don't run away.
Yeah.
So I really had no idea what was going on. I just knew that's where the problem was.
Yeah. To a person, that's what we've seen with the Gen 6ers.
And I think it's also we should state that you were never charged with any violent charges. Am I correct with that?
That's correct.
Yeah.
I'm a little squirrely. I'm pretty good at moving in crowds, if you know what I'm saying.
So I don't understand. So how can they go back against you? I mean, this is it's almost like they're trying to make a spectacle out of the whole thing.
Well, what it was, the charges were from possession of firearms and possession of unregistered firearms. Believe it or not, they say we are allowed to build our own firearms, but they give you charges for that if you don't get a stamp for them. But anyway, they were from the J6 search warrant at my home. There was weapons in the house.
All right. Let me ask you this. We got a couple of minutes left. You're trying to rebuild your life now after thinking you were going to start rebuilding your life in late January. Now it's late November, and it's time to start rebuilding. You are a master electrician. Do you have work? Have you been able to find work? Are you back doing what you were doing? Are you struggling? What's going on?
Well, the holidays is a bad time to be looking for a job. I don't have a job lined up quite yet. I'm confident that I'll be able to find work. I've got over 60,000 hours experience. I'm well-rounded. Anybody listening out there, I've made residential, commercial, industrial, low-volt, high-volt, door access, security camera, fire alarm, bring it. So if you need a master electrician, I have credentials and I have experience. So that's one thing throughout this process, nobody will ever be able to take from me. I have a skill and I will make it. But yeah, my teeth are in bad shape. I've lost 8 teeth in the past year and a half. So I'd like to get that fixed. Just a little help, to get me going. I'm staying with family. I do have a vehicle and stuff like that. I'm very blessed. My support community is awesome, but just anything that anybody can do, it would be greatly appreciated and used appropriately, just to, my medical stuff and to get me back on my feet. And I'll go back to work after the first of the year.
And you're willing to travel, obviously, with what you've done in your previous excursions, going all over the country.
Now you can travel again. So I would say, ladies and gentlemen, if you're especially in the southeastern part of the United States, you've got a project where you need a damn good master electrician, either reach out to us, we'll put you in touch with Dan, or track him down there on his social media. Dan, we close every show the same exact way each week, and that is with the most beautiful national anthem ever sung, that by our beloved J6ers, back when they were kind of the OG guys in the D.C. gulag. And you spent a little bit of time there, I know that. You weren't there when this was recorded, but I hope you'll stay with us for this. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for trusting us with 2 hours of your valuable time. And gentlemen, remove your hats. Ladies and gentlemen, hands over your hearts. We'll see you guys next week. Dan, congratulations on being a free man, and happy Thanksgiving to you.
God bless.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for having me on.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Never mix gelatin with these other 3 ingredients if you don't want the effects of Mounjaro in your body and to see your
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.